all of that gives a special kind of bond between the grandchild and the grandparent. And I have with my grandson, I mean, it's almost a sort of storybook thing. You know, I know that he's sort of welded to my leg wherever I go because I'm the guy that he hangs out with and the guy that plays with him and tells stories to him and, you know, sits down and builds stuff with his Lego set and all that kind of thing. And it creates a really wonderful, for him and wonderful for me, sense of closeness. And I can look at it from, you know, sort of a more selfish point of view. You reach a certain stage in life, both of us retired. And when we were working, we felt, yeah, we were really sort of doing something productive. We were really useful. And all of a sudden you find yourself when you're retired, is this all life is about? I mean, you know, playing golf and going to movies and, you know, going and sitting on a beach, you know, for a month every winter somewhere in Florida or whatever. Do I really matter to anybody else except me at this point? And when you're caring for your grandchild, you have no doubt that you really matter. And particularly in those early years, when you know that their life and their personality and their character and their whole sense of who they are and where they are is shaped in those first 5 or 6 years. And you're an absolutely vital partner. And long after you're gone, you know, you can be sure that you will be alive in that child's memory, and you will live on. And that's a fantastic sense. I mean, all I really pray is that I can, you know, hang in there long enough to let, maybe see Thomas into his teens or something like that, that it'll really be cemented. He'll look back with the memories of me that I have of my father, which were just absolutely great memories.
Let me say that as an observer, when I see you and Tomas come here, and you're chatting between, you know, and you see there's a relationship there that I think is quite extraordinary. And I mean, children are born with personalities to some extent, but I see Tomas and I think that little guy has a wonderful sense of confidence that the world belongs to him.
Yeah.
And I think that must be part of the heritage that you've passed on to him.
I think, yeah.
And if you did nothing else, that would be...
If you did nothing else, that would make a difference. But then, you know, what you also get from it, is that aside from this absolutely, you know, unconditional, intense love and affection, you know, the child is coming spontaneously and hugging you and saying, I love you, Tata, and so on. And the look of excitement and happiness on his face when you're outside in the field throwing a frisbee back and forth or something like that. I mean, you just see that you know, this child is in heaven. and you get from that, you're able to get some of that sense of wonder that a child has. The child's purity of happiness and his innocence and his wonder sort of rubs off on you. You see the world a little bit of a different way. And I just have learned so much from this young fellow. In a way, more than I learned as my own children were growing up through that stage, because I was off the office.
Yeah.
And I didn't see the way they look at the world and you know, the excitement that they get when we pass a construction site in the street. You know, the steam shovel is digging away, and Tom is just standing there with his mouth open for half a minute, watching this. Or, you know, being out in the backyard and finding a beetle crawling, you know, and all of a sudden you're down on your hands and knees, and you're sort of watching this, with him, watching this beetle progress through the grass, you know. And that's But those are things that are, you get to our age and you're able to relive that kind of thing again. It's just a gift from God, really.
I guess it makes the very substantial commitment in terms of time and energy a cost that you're having to pay.
Yeah, I mean, because there is a cost. I mean, if you're doing it on anything approaching, a half-time or full-time basis, it certainly chews into a lot of the social life you might have when you're retired. Your ability to get together, your friends. We're here because Thomas is at nursery school this morning, so that's a good thing. I mean, I can get out here so often. But if you want to do anything around the house, with shoveling snow with a 4-year-old grandchild, takes about 3 times the length, because as you shovel off the path and you turn around and you've got your young helper shoveling the snow back afterwards behind you. Or everything, you get out and start doing something in the middle of it. I got to make pee and take all the clothes off and run into the bathroom. So it chews into your time. It certainly requires a lot of patience and forbearance.
But these are good qualities. We should always be cultivating ourselves.
Yes. But time and energy, because at the end of the day, when my daughter picks up Thomas and takes him home, I gotta say, my wife and I sort of heave take a deep breath, and we're able to sit down, have a cup of coffee, or a glass of wine, something like that. But on balance, there's just no question that if you can do it, if you've got the time, if you've got the energy, if you've got the resources. I mean, if we were living in a little, 2-bedroom apartment, it would be much more difficult than it is in a biggish house with a big backyard and basement that you can run around and play in. That's you've got the time for that. It's a great way to spend the evening of your life, or the late afternoon of your life, in that kind of thing. And you meet all sorts of new people. I go to the park, or taking Thomas a few times a week to the nursery school and picking him up. All of a sudden, I develop a whole new social circle of people who are half my age. Sitting there in the park, and all these young mothers and a few young fathers, and this bald, gray-bearded old grandfather. And it's nice to feel connected to a younger generation. So I encourage you to do that, right?
Well, I think you make a great case for it. And having seen you with Thomas, it's been a great success.
Now, if I had brought him here for this video,
we would be able to do a video.
It would have been chaotic. He would have been, looking at the dishes over there and running over and sticking his face in the camera and asking questions and in the middle of it all saying, read me a story, Brian. Read me a story.
Thanks very much.